Welcome everybody back to another Boldcast reaction. I'm Carson.
I'm Lindsay.
And this is Solo Leveling Season 1, Episode 8. Leave a like and subscribe. Let's get right into it. I mean, yeah, they told you where they are. It's obvious where they are because it's written down right there.
Good choice.
What changed your mind?
Look, he has a shamrock shake. I don't think that's allowed. And we kill them all. And everyone would think that it was him.
It's our responsibility to stick our nose where they don't belong. I don't see any reason to let things go as they are, despite the fact that they're working almost perfectly.
Oh, he wants more money.
Yeah,
so.
I know. It's our duty to completely throw up the status quo into disarray and chaos by inserting ourselves into this situation where we don't belong. We are a construction company, after all. How can we afford not to fight demons?
Oh. What?
I just cracked myself up. I just thought it was really funny with that.
Weren't that funny?
I think I was. But I don't give a fuck.
Bingo.
He pulls on the card and he's just like, I don't know what this is. Oh, this guy.
They're gonna get put on the same team again. He's so cute.
This gives me very similar vibes to the scene in the last one, in I think episode 21 of Attack on Titan season 1. It's my favorite episode, where like they're coming back from the thing, and then it shows all the families of all the people that died, and they're just like, oh, this person's coming back. Oh, and then there's one person in the family that knows that it's not true or something. But it's the opposite, kind of. Maybe it's just the Sawado piano. Oh my god. Alright, Gendo, relax. What the fucking... God, this girl's still in her room, sulking. Get over it. Everyone else has.
Yeah, I think she should probably get a different job.
How will you run your own life? Yes. Thanks for telling us for the third time. Oh no, they're in the same guild, right?
I can't remember, honestly.
I remember because I forget but when they were talking, it was like, oh there's a headhunter coming to my guild, as if they were part of a different guild. Oh shit. It was a big failure.
Yeah.
We're heading back to that fucking island at the end of the season, I hope.
I feel like that would be really cool.
He levels up enough where he can join them. Mm-hmm. What the hell was that?
No, I don't need anything as you're like going off to
Possibly
fight.
Die.
Yeah. I'm surprised you even recognized him. I don't know about that. You must be misremembering.
Yeah, whatever explanation makes sense to you. He gave him the sword, right? Because he lost his arm, and that's what was in his inventory was the sword.
That's his sword. Not gonna lie, I would be kind of scared to go on another mission with these guys, just because of how bad the luck was the first time.
I would want to talk with them individually first, or at least as a group, putting it out there that, like, you know, no hard feelings, but like, let's not sacrifice me again or something. Oh no. Who the hell is this guy? What the fuck? Who are they?
Do they
part
just
of the
need
raid?
them to like go in there for numbers?
Well, this guy. Are they a part of a sacrifice for this dungeon or something?
Or they just have to like go inside so that they have enough
episode's
people.
Gonna fucking end.
Prisoner substitute hunters. That's kind of messed up.
Could you not get enough people, or what?
Okay.
Reduce their unlikely to cause trouble. The first thing they said was, "Hey, let me you, baby." Like, what? Okay, well, this is weird. Why introduce this weird fucking element to this? It's already a life and death situation. I would have called it. Me personally, I'm not. It's not that I would be more afraid. It's just why this like crazy chaotic element. Dungeon meshi. Skill. Ooh.
Interesting setup. So I think the reason for bringing in these criminals is because the guy is like, oh yeah, I'm like the surveillance guy. So he's obviously just trying to see, he's like, okay, there was like this weird incident at this dungeon. Only these people came out alive, and then like suspiciously the one guy, like,
You think they're there watching him?
I think they're there to watch him, and I think they brought these criminals so that it could be the original team, and then, okay, we have these criminals that aren't gonna,
mess
up what we're doing over here, because it's like, okay,
we're trying to watch and make sure, like, because we don't want to introduce all these other variables into everything.
But they still need enough people, and then they also need a reason for this higher level surveillance guy to be there, so
to watch.
So they bring in the criminals as an excuse for him to be there, and also as, like, having 3 other people that aren't messing up the dynamic of the original group, because I think they're like suspicious and
but they're also trying to find like with the whole, there's a million like exposition scenes this episode, first of all, but like in the office scene with these 2 guys, the 2 like big dogs, he's like they're talking about looking for other hunters or training new hunters and trying to, because they want to eventually take back the island and right this wrong that they sacrificed a lot for themselves and people that they knew, and also was a big like failure on their part, so, and just their reputation in general, and probably other reasons. But yeah, it seems like they want to move towards that, but they need other really strong people as well, and just stronger hunters in general. They want to like make some advancements and figure some shit out. I think that's kind of what I got from this.
Yeah, so
that would make sense why they're doing that with them in this raid.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting. I really liked this episode in terms of, like, previously when we talked about having the side characters or like all of these side stories introduced. It felt like it was taking away from the main story, but I felt like in this episode it was actually enhancing the main story a little bit, because it wasn't like cutting away in the middle of the fight or dragging on. It was like, okay, now the world is opening up. It's like, okay, he's like leveled up, he's like done some stuff, and now he needs to kind of like grind and go through all these lower level dungeons, and they were reintroducing like his original group, and then also getting more into the Hunter Association and all and the things associated, and the guilds and everything associated with that. So I felt like
there's a reason to do all
everything
this.
Fit really well, and seeing all of the side characters and everything that was shown in this episode was like necessary, and actually was like helping to further my understanding and support like what is going on in the main character storyline.
I agree. There's exposition, there's characters talking, and like give it, like the scene in the dojo was good, where it's like giving an update on what this guy's doing, because we're about to go in with him again, and he's seeing how he's been actually affected by the story. You got this character progression that's really, I think, satisfying, and it shows like that there's some persistence to what's going on. It's not just dungeon fight fucking whatever, and then we just keep moving forward. It's like we look back and we see this guy and how he's been affected, and this dude, how he's been affected by it. So there, and then this scene, actually, I thought the dialogue in this scene was actually pretty well written. Like how their sort of dance going back and forth. You get a really good idea of their characters, and that's I'm so bad with the Korean names, so I'm sorry, but like this guy, big brawny wolf man or something, whatever. He's like a lycanthrope type dude. He goes like beast mode and shit. He's a big brawny guy, but he has, we see him at the bar, and he's like, he clearly has a soft side to him, and we see him here. And they have this like multi-level back and forth where they're like, oh, you called me here for this. Oh, well, if you knew, blah, blah, blah. Well, you already knew that I knew that you knew. So there's like, he's not just a brawny, like a gentle giant type guy. He's also intelligent and like,
but he doesn't like all this bullshit.
But he can see through it, and he can play the game. It's not just the trope of big guy who is soft on the inside, who also is too dumb, or doesn't just hates all this stuff. And so there's a different layer to it.
And then we have the other guy who's like this kind of like weaselly type of dude that's like I'm doing this and I'm doing that, and he kind of like.
But he doesn't seem like a bad guy.
Well, that's what I was saying. Like he comes off across at first like he's like, oh, he's like setting up this meeting, and then he's like kind of trying to like pull the strings a little bit, and like even though he knows that the guy knows and this and that, but he's setting it up. But then we see that he's really distraught and like really messed up by like the whole situation on the island. So he has a goal, and it's not just to further his own success or something like that. He feels like he has something that he needs to take care of.
Yeah.
And is working towards that,
Yeah. So there's a good scenes with like exposition and getting some side characters and stuff like that. The two scenes that I think could have been cut entirely were this scene of this girl. It seems like they want to add scene like all the important scenes involve the guys, and then there's like, oh, we need more girls scenes with like hot girls. So we're gonna have the same scene that we've had 4 times of the healer girl saying, I want to do better. This like straight up Hinata but worse or like Sakura but worse situation where she's just like, I want to do better. I want to live up to like we've had this exact scene from her at least 3 times. So we get it again. Not only that, but the same thing. The reason why I say the girls is because we get in the boardroom, we get whatever her name is, the blonde girl. She's the badass like Mikasa archetype character who's really badass. We get the information in this scene and a flashback to her getting the card that we just saw in the episode. Her showing up and just like giving the card and like and then saying, "Oh, I got headhunted," but I'm not going to take it. That's all the information. And so with this scene of her in the boardroom, you could have completely cut out this. It was a short scene, but it's clearly just to show her. I think, and just because she's hot, and just because she's a character that will matter eventually, there's no point. And there's no point to showing this because again, you flash back to this scene 10 minutes later in the same episode. I think what
is going on here is like what. Maybe kind of what people were saying before of like, I'm pretty sure the blonde girl didn't get introduced until like maybe right now or like even a bit later in the source material,
so they're really
but they introduced her earlier on. So what I'm thinking what happened is like possibly this was her introduction in the source material. So they're doing it again, but they had already introduced her before being a badass. So like here they have her like running it, and then it's like, oh, that's what I would expect from an S rank hunter. And then imagine if you were seeing her for the first time, you'd be like,
right.
She's an S. Oh, she's like, okay, she's working out like, how the main character goes on these runs and works out every day. Oh, she's an S rank hunter. Oh, she's like getting scouted. Is she gonna get scouted for the construction company? No, she's not. She's loyal to her other guild. Yeah. So I think
the characterization.
So I think as the character introduction, I think it works. But I do see how it comes off maybe as a little bit repetitive because we already know that she's a badass S.
It's not just that we know her. It's that we saw the same scene twice in the same episode, and we got delivered the same information twice. The only new thing is the second time we saw it, we know that she refused. But you could have just cut out the scene at the beginning. It's clearly just to show her, and I don't like this like, oh, these characters don't have enough screen time, or we really want to show these characters they don't really have a place in the main story, so we're going to cut away from even the exposition scenes and like learning about stuff and learning about other characters that like have a just a side story. There was no story to her running really other than it being like a character introduction, but then to show it later, it nullifies the showing that in the first place. So you could have just shown it the whole thing in one go, rather than cutting to her twice, basically, or having her come into the scene again. It just like, because then we're cutting around to like, how many characters? We cut around to like 7 different perspectives this episode. It's just, there's easier ways to do the exact same thing, have the same effect, still show the characters if you want to show more of them, just not cut between and back and forth and this way and that way all over the place. We already had a bunch of other perspectives from other characters who were returning, who had like stuff to say and things to go through, and that are setting up in the main story. And we had the B story of them of all the guilds and shit like that.
Oh yeah.
Of the guilds, the B story. So then to cut to this girl who, again, we already had this exact scene, thing that I also think cut to her where we have the same scene in this episode, It is just kind of bloated.
I think with the healer girl as well, it's like she's coming back, so they're reintroducing her, and I feel like I'll have to. It didn't really bother me very much, and I think I'll have to wait because if she. I guess it will just depend if she like continues to like hold a presence in the story. Because I thought like I guess I would have thought like I wasn't necessarily anticipating her to come back, but maybe during this like dungeon raid she's actually gonna like grow as a person. And I'm also wondering, it's like, okay, so we're accepted this offer to go on the 19 raids and they were just gonna hire random people. But then I also kind of wonder, now that we're getting all of these people back together, are we going to end up just bringing them along? Like if they somehow find out or suspect, or, you know, does it become easier?
Just to have them along?
Easier even still if you just have a bunch of people that kind of owe you their lives that will, you know, kind of do what you say, rather than just literal random people that you have to keep completely in the dark every time. Yeah,
because the next episode is called You've Been Hiding Your Skills, so they might find out. Well, it's hard because if the other guy, if the surveillance
you don't want the surveillance guy to find
out, and he'll probably be the first to find out if he does have to reveal his power. But you know, yeah. So if he does reveal his power, then that guy will know, and that will change the whole game, the whole plan. He won't be able to. It'll be more difficult to do all those dungeons, or maybe he'll let him and just, you know, it'll be like, go ahead and train or whatever you got to do. But yeah, maybe if he saves them in this dungeon or like pops off, then he'll be like, all right, I need you guys to like basically be my, you know, just
you'll
pawns.
be completely safe
just follow me
if
around.
You come with me.
Yeah, just follow me around and then do these dungeons with me. I just need to do this shit. So yeah.
Because I think that I'm not necessarily sure. I feel like it's kind of 50-50 because that could be a possibility if they find out, but if they don't find out, then it wouldn't probably be worth it for him to tell them, you know?
Yeah. Given this show's reputation of, like, the whole thing we've heard repeated like a million times is just that the side characters don't matter. Like, or that it's all of, like, a big thing that everybody talks about with the source material was, like, the side characters are almost completely irrelevant. It's all about the main character. And I'm actually down for that in the show if that's what the show's about. But it makes me, whenever I'm like, oh, well, maybe these characters will have like a place in the story, it kind of makes me doubt it because I guess those expectations have been set by everybody and by the whole discourse around the show. So I don't expect much out of the characters from the get-go, and I guess that's an issue of my expectations. But you know, I don't know. We'll see if they matter at all. But everything that I've heard is that they don't, and it's just all about the main guy. So we'll see. So I don't have any expectations for the girl to like actually do anything. I really feel like she is just a dumb, pretty damsel in distress character to be saved by our cool, badass main character, which I guess is okay. It's just like kind of tiresome to constantly be cutting back to her saying that it's like literally falling into this. It feels like it's falling into the same trap as like Sakura fell into, where like the problem with Sakura was that she kept saying, it wasn't that she was useless or a damsel in distress, it's that she kept saying she was going to not be that, and then, you know, always getting dicked on and saved by Naruto and Sasuke and shit. So they're doing the same thing here, and it's kind of annoying because it's fully an issue of expectation, but I don't expect her to really do very much in the grand overall story. So if she's going to just be useless and a, you know, dumb healer pretty girl that we show because she's pretty, then that's okay. But don't interrupt the story 4 different times for the same scene of her saying that she's going to be better. You know, but we'll see. We don't actually know if she's actually going to do anything. Maybe she'll have a big moment. Anyway, leave a like and subscribe. See you guys next time. I'm Carson.
I'm Lindsay.
Bye-bye.